How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone is well. We'll get started about 30 seconds or so. We'll start when the market actually opens, and then we'll take it from there. All right. So, hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is healthy. Had a good month in April. I personally did have a pretty good month. Best month so far in in this year so far. So I'm pretty happy. We'll see how the opportunity given us for this upcoming month, and then take it from there. Okay, so um, we'll get started. We'll kind of go over the positions that I have running still, and then we'll jump into the weekly outlook and then take it from there. So if you have any pairs you want me to take a look, I'm happy to take a look at what I'm talking about in that market. So feel free to type out anything you want me to take a look. I will take a look accordingly. And let's get started. So 3 positions I'm in. So I'm in 3 positions as I updated in my weekly trading recap video. So if you haven't checked it out, you can take a look to see what positions I'm currently in. So 3 positions I'm running right now. I have Kiwi Yen, Aussie CAD, and Pound Swiss. So all those are running just as I talked about in the trade recap video. So Aussie CAD, we talk about that strong bearish kind of continuation from this continuation correction, and looking like it's doing pretty well. We're kind of stalling in this area, which is the previous low. So we'll see how that goes. Are we going to get continuation and go further downside? Pound Swiss, same idea. We broke out this continuation, so we'll be looking forward to see if we just get further lower time frame continuation to push the price down. And Kiwi Yen, same idea. We got in from the top here, and then look to see if there's going to be midway continuation. Ultimately, you want to see price break out of this overall ascending channel, and we have further downside potential to the lows here. Okay, so again, 3 trades I'm running right now: Kiwi Yen, Aussie CAD, Pound Swiss. So they're all in pretty decent profit. So we'll see how this week goes. Last month we had a pretty good finish, so hope some of you guys are in some of those positions I mentioned as well. And we'll just take it from there and see what else is going to be upcoming for the month and the week ahead. All right. So let's get started with today's or this week's outlook. I'm going to start with Forex and then going to commodity indices. I'll finish crypto last, okay, as my always. So if you have any pair, like I said, just type in there. If I see it, I'll definitely take a look or go over that when I'm in that market. So I'm going to start with Forex market. I think there's a lot of good opportunities for this week ahead. I think a lot of dollar pairs, a lot of yen pairs are looking very, very good. And certainly there's a lot of continuation, in my opinion, that we can actually get in and capitalize on it. So let's start with dollar index. Okay, let's start with dollar index. We'll take a look what I am looking for. Last week, if you guys recall, last week before all the dollar had that really strong push before Friday, I kind of already talked about this in my kind of USD outlook. I mentioned there was a few dollar pair. Euro dollar is one of them. I think pound dollar was also another one. And Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar, they're all looking very clean, and all of them pretty much play out kind of exactly what I was looking at. So it's very good that we see these kind of price actions start forming now, and we have a lot of opportunities to get in, right? So let's start with dollar index here. If we look at the dollar index now, remember every week when we talk about the dollar index, I always give kind of the 2 possible scenarios. We either can have that kind of a higher time frame continuation that can reach this previous low, or this is that correction that we're going to watch out for in case we're going to see some kind of bullish activity. And I always talk about the lower time frame always give me sort of a bullish bias throughout this whole time, even though this move down is quite bearish, but at the end we kind of form this kind of a small descending structure, and we pretty much reverse up. So naturally we're going to be looking for is continuation correction. Okay, we don't just jump in here because the price break out of this descending channel. We don't jump in just because there's a bunch of bullish candle. We're going to confirm the bullish bias by waiting for a continuation correction. That's going to give us a very, very good opportunity to wait for a solid correction here, and then we're going to see dollar eventually start taking off. That is kind of what I will be looking at for this week and the upcoming weeks. and certainly has the right price action to do so. And we're going to jump into all my dollar pairs, or at least the ones that I look for that's looking very, very clean for the dollar strength. And dollar index is certainly a possibility here if we get this, on a Monday morning New York session or something like that. We can certainly see price eventually start going off. And that's kind of how my bias will be for this week ahead. All right, so that's dollar index. Let's start with a few dollar pairs. I think there's a lot of dollar pairs that are looking really, really clean. Make sure, like I said, is risk management, right? I always talk to everyone that when you're looking for opportunities on the same currency, make sure you're not taking all of them. Okay, make sure you understand why we have risk management is, of course, if the dollar is going to get strength and we're going to see further downside from most of the dollars, then they're likely to all go. But if they don't get the strength that we want, then most of the dollar could reverse, and entering a bunch of dollar position or entering a bunch of yen position just doesn't seem very valid, at least for my personal trading plan and risk management. So make sure you understand that, and make sure you have a good trading plan and risk management approach when you come to entering these dollars. So let's start with Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, as we can see, higher time frame, we talk about that. We have this overall kind of rising wedge. We have impulse, correction, impulse, right? So very clean, bearish kind of price action. And this just looks like a further or like a bigger continuation correction that I talk about for pretty much a couple weeks. We instead kind of make this kind of a channel, or you can say this is a flag, this is the impulse, and then we're looking like we're breaking out that pretty much exactly what we were looking at last week before this really strong bearish price action on Friday. So naturally, we broke out the structure now, right? So we'll be looking for continuation. I think there's a very good solid chance that we're going to get a continuation correction here. This is definitely going to be a very good sell setup, and down to at least just the previous low. You can see that there is already a head and shoulder pattern. Across the board, actually, all the dollar pairs have this similar kind of price action that we're going to see. So I would wait for a continuation here, and I would look for a potential sell down to the previous low as a first target, and then looking to see what price will do if we break out, and further downside is also expected. So that is Aussie dollar. Let's take a look at a few more dollar pairs. Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar is also looking really clean. Kiwi dollar, we talk about this as a potential double top area. This is a clear impulsive move to the downside, correction, and we break out again. But you can see price just barely broke this previous low, and it started correcting itself up. And this is during the time when I mentioned we're likely to see a bigger correction or a bigger pullback now. Instead, it pretty much just form a two separate correction here, but nevertheless, it's pretty much a consolidation period right back to this previous top. And you can see that there is this kind of ascending channel structure. We know this is a very good reversal price action. And double top here on the price. And if we look closely on the price here, pretty much just had this sharp impulse down correction. We broke out of this overall ascending channel. This is exactly kind of what I want to looking for. And now that price broke out this ascending channel, as always, we'll be looking for continuation. And you can see that across the board, you're going to see this head and shoulder across all the dollar pairs. So they're going to be very similar price action. So remember what I said in the beginning is choose wisely, right? If you're going to enter these dollar positions, make sure you choose wisely and you're not entering all of them, okay? So choose the best one that's going to give you the best risk reward and the best entry possible, okay? So wait for a right and shoulder here, wait for a correction that we break out of this ascending channel, and look for a continuation correction down to the previous low. I think that's definitely enough risk reward for here. And if we can just break out similar idea, similar management, if it breaks out very impulsively, then look for continuation would be very ideal to get into more scaling opportunities. Okay, so that is Kiwi dollar. Any question, guys? You're welcome to let me know. Okay, I'm just gonna be going through all the dollar pairs now. So euro dollar is also another one that I'm looking at, right? Remember when dollar is forming these kind of things, and I saw a lot of people are looking for buys. I think that's fine as long as that's in your plan to enter these. Personally, when I was looking at this, I was not looking at buy at all, right? Remember we talked about the potential dollar weaknesses the dollar strength. And euro dollar is one of them that we could have get that head and shoulder pattern right here, and it's pretty much exactly forming what I'm looking for now. So we had this push up from the price, kind of trapping buyers here, and then we just have this massive sell-off on Friday. So this is going to lead to us a potential continuation here now. So don't just jump in here because we're likely just going to see consolidation during the Asia session. Just based on experience Monday morning, we're not likely to going to see too much volume here, and wait for maybe the London session to correct or even forming correction here. And during the New York session on Monday morning, I do expect this to start going off. So that is something that I will be looking to capitalize on. I'm personally not in any of the dollar position, but I will definitely get in on one of them at least if the price form to my liking in the upcoming days. Okay, so euro dollar certainly has that really clean price action I like, impulse, correction, impulse. And this ascending channel goes up a little bit higher, but not, it's the same approach. We're waiting for confirmation breakout. So all it is that the structure just expand a little bit. It's still an ascending channel. We hit this double top. Now we're dropping down here, which is good. So continuation correction, same approach, same management. Look to the down, look for previous low as a potential target. Okay. So yeah, all the crypto one, guys, I'm gonna go over that later. So I'm gonna finish the Forex pairs first, and then I'm going to crypto after, okay? So you have to bear with me for quite a bit of time because I got a lot of pairs to go over, and it's a weekly outlook, so I got a lot to go over. I appreciate that, okay? So all right, so let's continue here. Pound dollar. So pound dollar, again, I remember I see a bunch of guys are looking for buys here. And, you know, like I said, if the buy doesn't break out and you didn't take the buy, I think hopefully you have good risk management here, that you're not just entering because there is a buy correction here. In my opinion, I was always looking for downside. I went over this in my video as well, that we're always looking for downside on pound dollar because it's shaping up for that really strong bearish kind of continuation, right? We have this higher time frame ascending channel, and we have this impulse correction right back to the previous high now. So really clean price action here. So I was never looking for buy, I was looking for sell. I want to see if this correction will complete. So we have a bullish impulse up and a reversal impulse down and continuation correction. So impulse, correction, impulse. And looking for continuation on the lower time frame to push the price down to the lows, and preferably or actually expectantly that this can be breaking out and go further down to the downside further. So first thing first is definitely waiting to see something to develop here because we just broke this previous low. There's certainly a possibility, a small possibility that this can be a correction like this and this start going off. That's certainly a possibility, right? So we always have to forecast any kind of scenarios, any kind of potential movement from the price. The confirmation for me is waiting for that continuation correction here. Whether or not that's going to be forming later on in the Asia session or maybe during London session, but waiting for a consolidation here is best. Wait for price to break out, wait for further continuation. We're just at the top of the overall price. Look how much room we have to the downside if this move plays out. So certainly going to be watching out for this one for the upcoming, you know, weeks or month even. This move, if it plays out, it's going to take months to hit the lows, right? So there's going to be many opportunities in the middle if it's going to correction, right? It's going to always correct in a higher time frame impulse down. There's going to be many lower time frame impulses and corrections along the way. So even if you didn't catch the first one, I think there's going to be different opportunities along the downside move. So be patient there, okay? So that's pound dollar. So I think these are the four main dollar positions that I'm looking at for the week ahead. Okay, there's a few more dollar pairs I'll go over, but Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, euro dollar, and pound dollar are my favorite. It's exactly the forecast I made from last week before Friday. So all of them pretty much played out as kind of what I was looking at. So great, you know, looking for continuation now, looking for entries now, right, to get in, and then looking for further downside on all of them. Okay, so any questions so far on any of these dollar pair, guys? I'm gonna go over a few more dollar pairs. Someone mentioned about dollar Swiss. I will take a look at that. But these are the $4 pairs that are looking the cleanest in my eye. So how much influence do you have 10-year bond? I really don't look at the bond, sorry. I really don't look at it. I'm sure there is some correlation here and there, but I personally don't really know or don't really look at it. Take a look at VET later. Yeah, I'll look at crypto later for sure. Also, we have a double top on the monthly time frame on pound dollar. Yeah, certainly, right? In my opinion, this is to me already a potential double top. It doesn't have to hit the double top, okay? That's just the way how I see the market. Some people say they have to hit it or break it or whatever. To me, it's in general how the price is getting to that top, right? We're not seeing bullish continuation. We're not seeing strength. Instead, we're seeing consolidation. That to me is a potential area to be watching out for. So let's continue here, guys. Euro Kiwi, I will go over that as well. Euro Kiwi, I will go over that. So a few more dollar pair. Dollar CAD is the one I want to talk about. I think dollar CAD has a lot of potential. The reason why I'm a little bit hesitate, at least compared to the other dollar pairs, just CAD is so strong, right? If you look at across the board, if you look at any single CAD pair right now, all the CAD are looking very strong, right? That's Aussie CAD, CAD Yen, Euro CAD going down, CAD Swiss going up, Kiwi CAD going down, Pound CAD going down. So pretty much all the CAD pairs are just extremely bullish in CAD, in favor of CAD, except dollar CAD really, because dollar CAD certainly is dropping. What I mean is I'm potentially looking at this as a potential reversal. Okay, so it pretty much will come down to, is the dollar going to be stronger or is the CAD going to be stronger, right? But let's just look at it strictly from a price action point of view. I like how this descending channel continued to correct. Remember from the previous kind of buy that I talked about, there's a previous reversal. This is the current price action from maybe a month and a half ago, and I was looking at this to see if it's going to break out of this structure. See how it just almost break out of here, but just fall down back. That's just a good sign that the correction isn't finished, right? So that's why we always wait. If we're going to get in on potential entry like this, we want to wait for price to break out, and that's going to be a better potential buy. Whereas this didn't break out, this falls back to the low, but all it is just making a larger structure. All it is just that this descending channel or descending structure isn't complete. We're just going to make one more move to the downside, which is exactly what's happening now. And if we're going to get reversal, it's going to be in this key area now. We look at the higher time frame here. This is that previous low that the price just pretty much touched. So again, this could be that double bottom on the higher time frame. And the way how the price gets there, remember, it's not about just the price tagging a double bottom and that's a double bottom. It's in general how the price is moving towards that area here. To me, this looks very clear as a descending channel. It's just a bigger version than what we seen a month and a half ago. And now it's potentially has something here. It's not ready yet, so don't just jump in here for the buy or anything. I would prefer some sort of consolidation in this area first. So preferably some small descending channel like so, and then a bullish breakout followed by a bullish continuation. I think that's going to at least confirm this move could push to the top. And if we can just see further bullish opportunity breaking out of this descending channel, then continuation correction to go to the previous high is certainly possible. Okay, so again, it's not my favorite dollar pair. There's the $4 pair that I mentioned earlier is going to be the best ones. But I thought I can go over this as well because it has a very good, reversal price action I've seen on a higher time frame, and we're at this low here, double bottom potentially on the higher time frame, descending channel, a little bit more development here for some bullish price action will and can lead into the next bullish run. Okay, so I'll keep an eye on this. I'll keep an eye on this for sure. I do think it's going to need a little bit more development, probably more development than the couple dollar pairs that we just went over. It needs that bullish reversal price action on the lower time frame. Okay, so that is dollar CAD. Someone mentioned about dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss wasn't on my watch list exactly, but certainly can see a potential bullish price action here. This is also a descending channel, right? The only difference here is, again, we talk about filtering your process, right? Filtering trades and filtering pairs. If the dollar is going to go, I think all of them are going to go, right? That's as I always say. But if the dollar are going to tank, they're all likely to tank. So I'm going to have, every time when I choose to what pairs I'm going to get involved, it's always filtering some pairs. So it's not that dollar Swiss isn't going to go up. It's just that compared to the couple other dollar pairs I look at, I do think a couple other dollar pairs had a little bit better price action when it comes to for that potential long. I do like this descending channel. I do like we can eventually break out followed by continuation. I certainly see this move can continue higher. And we talked about this last week that there is a potential inverse head and shoulder as well. And this is at that previous low that the price is currently stalling at. So certainly is possible for that bullish continuation. It's just that in terms of price action, I'm not really getting much here. All it is that this part is looking like we could reverse from here. But compared to the other dollar pairs, I just see the other dollar pairs have a little bit better price action compared to this one. And again, I'm not going to enter all the dollars, right? So I have to filter and choose the best one. Okay, so that's what I see on dollar Swiss. Certainly is possible if we finish this descending channel, and then continuation is possible in the upcoming days. Okay. Dollar yen, I do want to also talk about, because dollar yen, I think there's a mixed reaction between what people kind of looking at in dollar yen. It's kind of just sitting at this area now where we just had a false breakout, push down, and there's a few ways of looking at this. People who trend kind of Fibonacci or whatever. This is a push up and then kind of pull back to maybe 0.61 or whatever, one of those numbers, and this can continue higher. That's kind of one way of looking at it. Whereas, in my opinion, at least from my point of view, is that we could be getting a head and shoulder pattern at the top of the overall price action, at the top of this higher time frame kind of channel, kind of flag. It's kind of indicating that we're not likely to break out of this channel now, and we could potentially move all the way back to the bottom before the next up move. Okay, so price action is key here, guys, is to wait for the development here on the lower time frame. In my opinion, what's forming here over the upcoming day is going to give us a little bit more understanding. I think there's going to be a little bit more development here. This is not complete, and this area of price action is not complete either. So preferably is to see a little bit more consolidation, maybe forming a ascending channel or something like that, and then push down from there and then continue the bearish kind of price action. That's something that I would prefer to see, but also I understand that this can eventually just lead into a bullish move and continue. And that there's nothing wrong in terms of price action either, because we're just having a really big impulsive move, and this can be viewed as a continuation correction. So impulse up, correction, and we continue impulse as well. So mixed reaction here, kind of both case scenario. When I see price action like this, usually I will be a lot more patient and just waiting for a little bit more development here to confirm the bias for each direction. Okay, so I thought I'd talk about dollar yen because it's on everybody's kind of watch list. So that's kind of how I view this at this point. And like I said, there's just better dollar pairs, better opportunity in my eye to get involved in, and I can leave this one alone, and there's a few more dollar pairs that are shaping up to be better. Okay. Aussie dollar, I went over that right in the beginning already. So very quickly, I'm just looking for continuation. We already break out of this kind of continuation correction. So impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. So wait for continuation here would be ideal. Pound Swiss, I'll definitely go over. It's one of the trade I'm in. So I think that wraps it up with all the dollar pairs. Okay, all the dollar pairs, at least what I'm looking at. So Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, Euro dollar, and pound dollar. Like I said last week, I made this outlook video. If you feel free to watch this one, pretty much talk about all these four major dollar pairs that are pretty much shaping up to be exactly what I'm looking for now. So I'll certainly want to take advantage of them if they do shape up to be the right price action. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to Aussie CAD now. Okay, let's talk about Aussie CAD, which is the position I'm in. I think some of you guys caught in on Aussie CAD as well, at least what I saw on Telegram. So hopefully more of you guys caught this move. I've been talking about this move for a while as well, right? We talk about the continuation correction here. This is the original move that I personally got in, and I'm looking for pretty much continuation, right? We pushed down foreign price, and I mentioned there could be some sort of continuation, a bigger scale continuation that's forming. So this is a large impulse down, and we're looking for continuation correction and pretty much looking for the next move down for the price, right? And there's a few ways to get in this. I think someone at least got in from this head and shoulder, at least from what I saw in Telegram. I personally was waiting for a completion of this correction, right? So impulse, correction, impulse down. So I was looking for continuation once we broke out of this structure here. And pretty clean, I just got in on a correction after breakout, one of my entry that I always talk about. And price is pretty much just pushing down and pushing down quite a bit during London and New York session on Friday. And what can we expect from this? Well, I pretty much update this in the trade recap video. So this is the previous low now, so that's where the price is stalling. So preferably it continue to stall or continue to consolidate during the Asia session, and definitely looking for continuation correction price action here to go down lower, right? I will even consider a scaling opportunity. If I like the correction that it forms here, I'll add into a potential sell. So looking very decent to go down all the way to the previous low of this higher time frame structure. Okay, so impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. Okay. Yeah, any question, guys? Welcome to let me know. I'm just gonna continue going. And so that's Aussie CAD, right? Let's talk about the yen pairs now, okay? So let's talk about the yen pairs, pretty much all of them. So I'll talk about all the yen pairs, kind of see what I see are shaping up to be the best. Again, same approach like the dollar pairs, guys. If the yen pairs are going to move, they're likely to move all together, okay? So don't, in my opinion, from a risk management point of view, there's no point taking all of them. You can choose the best one or two, in my opinion. That's going to help you to be consistent in the long run, okay? So let's look at all the yen pairs. So starting with Aussie yen, again, last week I made a video about all the yen pairs that I'm looking at for the remaining of the week, and this pretty much all of them play out exactly how I was looking at. So pound yen certainly dropped, and we also look at Aussie yen, it's also dropped as well. Kiwi yen's the pair that I got in personally. Cat yen's probably the only pair that hasn't developed into something. We'll talk about cat yen after. So Aussie yen pretty much play out exactly what I talked about last week. We have this higher time frame structure here. So this is the impulsive move. This is clearly a continuation correction. So we have a few swing highs and few swing low. And at the lower time frame here, we saw that ascending channel to the top of the correction. So we have that first impulse down, followed by continuation, and then price started moving down. Now, this is the time when I was choosing between Kiwi yen. I was choosing between Kiwi yen, pound yen, or Aussie yen, and I decided to go with Kiwi yen at the end. But I think all of them are looking very clean. All of them had the same kind of price action, impulse correction on the lower time frame, and I just went with Kiwi yen at the end. But looking at Aussie yen here, certainly is going to continue. We can see this head and shoulder, a bigger scale now. So again, during the Asia session, this area is likely to consolidate here a little bit, and looking for further downside opportunities. Definitely can see price push it all the way down to the previous low or the low of this higher time frame correction. And same approach is if we can see breakout followed by further lower time frame continuation, definitely more room or more potential entry down to the previous low. Okay, so Aussie yen certainly looking very clean. I'll talk about a few more yen pairs as well. Yeah, so that's Aussie yen. Aussie Swiss, I'm not seeing too much. Not interesting. Aussie Swiss doesn't look too good in my eye. So let's talk about a few more yen pairs. BTC, I'm gonna go over all the Forex pair first before I go into other markets. So be patient with me. I will go over all the crypto as well. Thank you. So let's look at CAD yen. So CAD yen was pretty much the only yen pair that I went over from last week that did not have that bearish continuation yet. Okay, and this is again probably because CAD pairs are super strong right now, right? Pretty much all the CAD pairs are extremely bullish or strength in CAD except potentially dollar CAD, which I went over this. So CAD yen is something I do want to talk about because there's a few ways of seeing this. On the higher time frame, you can see that there is a strong bullish impulse up, right? This is clearly an impulsive phrase. And when we start seeing this type of correction, remember, this is a expanding structure that I talk about. I made a video on this, so feel free to watch that expanding structure video if you're not sure how to approach these kind of structures. In my opinion, expanding structures are really more advanced because they can be both continuation correction or they can be reversal structures. Okay, so it's hard to determine right away if this is going to be, further continuation for a bullish move. So this becomes an impulse correction and go higher, or this is going to be a reversal correction and we start going down. So the only way for us to confirm that is definitely waiting for lower time frame development, right? So this area here is going to be very crucial in the upcoming day or so. We want to really see preferably some sort of ascending channel like this, right? So a potential reversal structure, and again, strong bearish breakdown from the price followed by continuation, right? This is something we want to see, a push down from the price, lower time frame continuation, just like how we got in on all the yen pairs that I talk about. Certainly has that downside potential, very good risk reward if this fits in your plan to enter. I just put this here just in case that plays out, but I'm not in CAD yen or anything at the moment. But if we see an impulsive move to the downside followed by lower time frame continuation, just set an entry order, stop loss before above the high. Even with 40 pip stop loss to the low here, we can get 6 to 1 or something. So definitely, if this is going to be a reversal correction, this down move can break out of the previous low and then continue downside as well. That's obviously a more long-term outlook. But first thing first, right, is waiting for this development here in the upcoming day. Preferably see that bearish breakdown followed by continuation. And of course, if the price is going to continue higher, if this expanding structure becomes a continuation correction go higher, then what we're going to expect price to do here is instead of ascending channel here, we're just going to start consolidating sideways now like this. So pretty much becoming a lower time frame flag continuation, and we can continue higher as well. That's certainly a possibility. So this is why we do forecasting. This is why we make analysis. So we are prepared for any type of movement from the price. Okay, so you can argue both way, right? You can see that this is an impulse, this is a correction here. We have another bullish impulse up. If this forms into a continuation correction, then it's solid for the overall bullish move. But if the bullish price action doesn't develop here, then expect that lower time frame reversal price action to bring down the price. Okay, very simple, right? Don't need to second guess yourself. Don't need to think too much about it. Wait for price to come to you. At this area right now, you can pretty much argue both ways. So no need to enter, no need to jump the gun, or no need to have a bias right off the bat. Just wait for price to develop here that leads into your liking of a trading entry and execute it accordingly. Okay, so that is CAD yen, at least how I see it. I went over Aussie Swiss. I'm really not interested in Aussie Swiss. There's really no price action, or at least I don't see clear price action. Just like Kiwi Swiss, they're not really clean in my opinion. I think there's way better Aussie pair or any other Swiss pair to go in. Because I can see this both ways. You can argue that this is a higher time frame correction. So we have an impulsive move. This can be a correction to go higher. But judging by what's been happening lately, this is not really pretty for an outside move. Especially all the Aussie pairs are pretty much looking bearish. Okay, at least in my eyes. So I'm not really favoring Aussie Swiss here. There's way better pairs to actually get involved in. That's why it's not on my weekly watch list. You can argue that higher time frame could be bullish, but you can also argue that lower time frame, like if you want to see it this way, if I break it down into like this, right? So there's a few correction here and then it evolves into something like this. So again, it's still correcting in this higher time frame correction, right? So there's a lot of possibility, and I think a couple other pairs that I went over today so far is way better in terms of price action. So that's why it's not on my watch list for this one, okay? So we went over CAD yen. Let's talk about Swiss yen now. So Swiss yen, also a yen pair. It's not my favorite yen. I'll go over. I think my favorite yen for this week is Aussie yen, pound yen, Kiwi yen, which is kind of what I talked about last week as well. So watch this video if you're seeing how my outlook were before the move happened, and that can give you a little bit better of at filtering the trades, right? Because like I said, all the yen pairs, if they're gonna play out, they will all likely to play out, right? So yeah, but the point, what we're doing here is to filter the best one so that you're going to execute the one that is shaping up to be the best risk reward and the best entry. So what I see on Swiss yen here, I like how if we just zoom out here on the higher time frame, this is pretty much the previous high, right? This is like a double top for the previous high. Can be a double top. So it really doesn't matter where you put this line, right? As long as you know that there is a previous high here that the price is pretty much currently sitting at here. Okay, so this is looking like a rising wedge or ascending kind of structure. And the only way that I will get involved, because we have this such a strong bullish impulse, even though we're potentially in this kind of a structure here, the only way that I will get involved is I want to see a reversal impulse. Remember in my videos, I talk about reversal impulse. So an impulse up, instead of continuation correction, we pretty much just see a reversal impulse down and then a bearish continuation correction. I love these type of price action because it's telling you that the bullish run is exhausted. If we see a sharp reversal down followed by continuation, this can lead into a strong reversal as we are in this higher time frame reversal structure. So that's kind of how I will kind of take advantage of this. I will just wait for this move to happen. If this start consolidating here to go upside, really I'm not interested in the buy here. Okay, I'm interested only in the sell. If this move plays out, I like the overall price action on the higher time frame. I like how this is the previous high that the price is stalling. This is all certainly a potential reversal correction that's in the development. And the higher, the deeper the correction goes, the stronger the impulse and move will happen. So that's kind of how I will take advantage of this if it forms. I'll talk about Euro Yen as well. I think some of you guys are looking at Euro Yen as well. I like how we're in this ascending channel also. There is no previous high, or at least a little bit upper or close to this previous high. That is the previous high that the price may continue correct a little bit higher before the bearish move. So that's something that you need to also keep into consideration. Again, similar approach like most of the yen pairs. I think a correction here is valid for potential entry, and then you'll look to see if the price can break out of this ascending channel. If it doesn't, right, that means we potentially have another move up to the upside before the downside. The safer side is if it forms correction here, we just break out of this ascending channel, then again, lower time frame continuation is very valid because that is forming a head and shoulder pattern. You'll see these structures across the board all the time, but they're most effective when they're at the top of the overall price action and they're strong reversal price action. Okay, so most of the dollar, most of the yen are pretty much all having this type of price action. So very clean, very good to look for opportunity. And remember, when we're looking for reversals, you want to enter relatively at the top of the reversal price action because you give yourself lots of room to the downside if this move plays out. You pretty much don't want to enter when move already happened and then midway through, and sometimes you can form a bigger consolidation or bigger correction, and that won't be as lucrative than entering from the top here for the downside. Okay. So that's Euro Yen here. So let's move on to Pound Yen. So I think Pound Yen is definitely something that I will still keep an eye on. I think we talked about Pound Yen multiple times. There's a few trade I got in from the Pound Yen here, got in on this Pound Yen, and now potentially this is an expanding structure that we're looking at that could potentially push down and continue further. And we're seeing a larger, higher time frame head and shoulder as well. So certainly adds confluence to a overall bearish move. Again, last week we talked about Pound Yen, right? We talked about the Pound Yen positions that we can see a potential double top here, and if we see a lower time frame push down, continuation correction, we can certainly see the move down all the way down. And essentially that is pretty much exactly what happened. If we look at the overall price on Friday, this is the previous high here. I mentioned about this potential double top. We want to look at the lower time frame correction here, and it forms a very good head and shoulder once again, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and I was choosing between this entry or Kiwi Yen. I just decided to go with Kiwi Yen at the end. But Pound Yen was a trade that I certainly was going to enter. It's just I decided with Kiwi Yen. They have pretty similar price action, pretty similar risk reward, and I had a pound trade running already, so I just decided with Kiwi Yen. But I did see some of you guys going on Pound Yen, so certainly this is the entry that I would put in. I would put a stop entry order here, put the stop loss above the high, and then price should tag you in. You're pretty much in profit now, so make sure you move it to break even, and you're going to monitor to see what this upcoming day will do. We already have this impulse up and pretty much a reversal impulse down, right? So impulse up, reversal impulse down. So naturally, if we wait for some sort of continuation correction here, that is enough to lead the price all the way back to a low. Okay, so if you didn't get in on Pound Yen from the top, or if you didn't get in on any of the yen pairs, there's certainly possibility along the halfway or so. So wait for a continuation here. That's kind of what I want to see, and look to see if price has enough momentum to push down to all the way to this previous low. And if what we're seeing on the higher time frame is going to play out now, then expecting it to break below and certainly more continuation down. But first thing first, let's finish this correction here. Remember, we don't know if this is all it needs for the correction to complete. We do see few swing highs and few swing low, so that certainly classify it as a correction. But this move can certainly push down to the low here, and if it doesn't break below this previous low, we start seeing reversal back up, then all it is just we're making a bigger structure, and then this move to the upside is still going to reverse and back down. Okay, so remember this, okay? We're not always going to be 100% sure when this correction will finish, okay? We have a very good understanding of it, so every time when I see these type of entries, we'll execute it, we'll move the stop loss to break even, and then monitor the price. Sometimes this is all we need to see the price break out and continue lower. Sometimes we're going to see price bounce off here and then make a bigger structure before the downside. Okay, so make sure you understand the nature of price action, the nature of correction. That's going to help you to really be more consistent in trading. So that's Pound Yen. Okay, so let's move on to the last yen pair, so which is Kiwi Yen. Kiwi Yen is the pair I'm in. So Kiwi Yen, talk about this in the recap video and talk about this in the outlook as well, right? So looking certainly clean with this double top here. We have this impulse correction all the way back to the double top. And same thing, you have this head and shoulder pattern, just very solid, very clean across the dollar and the yen pairs. So impulse up, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So I was waiting to see what will happen in this right shoulder. I like how we pretty much have a ascending channel as the head, impulse down, correction, and then I just set an entry order, stop entry order. I mentioned this in the weekly trade recap video. I could have set 25 pips stop loss, but I decided to go with 30. It's not the end of the world. It's not make and break when it comes to that. So a little bit extra pip for my stop loss doesn't matter. First target is the lows of this correction for about 3.821, but ultimately I'm always looking for the second target breakout, continuation correction, looking for the low of here as a potential target. And I talk about that this can be a scaling opportunity as well, right? Making this a bigger head and shoulder pattern that it's likely to form. Okay, so multi-time frame analysis, right? The price start out from head and shoulder at the top in the lower time frame, and then can easily leading to a bigger head and shoulder, and then still continue downside. Okay, so those are all the yen pairs. Those are all the yen pairs that I'm looking at for the week ahead. Like I said, my favorite one are Aussie Yen, Pound Yen, Kiwi Yen. There's a few okay yen pairs, right? Euro Yen, Swiss Yen, I think they're okay, and CAD Yen just need to be a little bit more careful. See what happens in this area will be better. And this is the only entry, or at least the possibility that I can see that play out if you're looking for a downside move. Okay, so those are the yen pairs. Any question, guys, let me know. But I'm going to continue now with just the remaining few pairs, and we'll jump into other markets. Okay. So someone asked me about Euro Kiwi. I think Euro Kiwi, Euro Aussie are, it's the same as Aussie Swiss and Kiwi Swiss, right? They're pretty much inverse correlated, and I think none of them really fits into my eye or fits into my watch list. The reason being they are kind of just in the middle, meaning that it's a little bit indecisive. Let's put it this way. I'm trying to think of the word. It's like so many people are looking for buy, so many people are looking for sell, and it's just indecisive sideways price action, which I don't like. I don't like seeing price action that's going sideways. It's just that it's telling you that there's consolidation. And remember, when we want to get involved with the market, we want to be in the impulsive phase. We don't want to get stuck in the consolidation phase, which is what I'm seeing across Euro Aussie, Euro Kiwi. You see how this correction has gone on for 2 weeks now. Right, I see so many people either buying, selling, and the trade is not going anywhere if you notice, because there's just huge consolidation here, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just not going anywhere, right? And I see people saying they're gonna be buying, they're gonna see selling, they're gonna be buying. What they're doing is exactly what I said. You're trapping yourself in this consolidation. So your profit is not like you're just gonna see profit come, profit go, profit come, profit go, profit come. Whether you're buying or selling, it's not moving anywhere in this area. Okay, so very simple, right? There's two ways of seeing this. If you're looking for a sell bias, very clearly you want a price to break this previous low and then continuation go down further. Right, that's going to be a confirmation. There's no point buying, there's no point selling here because you're just gonna get trapped in here indefinitely. Who knows how long or how deep this correction can go? What if it just start going like this for the next whole month? Right, that's possible, and you're just gonna get trapped in here without knowing what to do with your position. Okay, so I think the best way, the best case scenario, if you're looking for a sell bias, it's wait for price to break this previous low and then continuation. Right, very simple enough. Whereas if you're looking for a buy bias, I personally actually have a more bullish bias on this one, is that I see this as a descending channel, impulse, correction, impulse. This can just be a larger continuation, eventually breaking out and continue. Again, I'm not interested to buy in this area. I'm only interested if I see bullish price action, breaking above this previous high and then lower time frame continuation. That's going to be a way better buy than be buying here. It's just you're getting stuck in the consolidation. Okay, so remember that, guys. You want to put your money in when the market is ready for the impulsive move, whether that's upside or downside, however your bias would be. But don't get trapped. Don't get trapped in the consolidation phase. This is where the market takes all the people's money because of spread, because of news, because of anything. Consolidation is never good to hold through your trade because it's going on indefinitely. Okay, so that's my honest feedback on Euro Kiwi. I really don't see much here. Like I said, if you're looking for down buys, then look for the breakout and continue. If you're looking for the bullish buys, which I personally am, I will be waiting for price to actually break out here and continue higher. That's going to be how I will get involved. Anything else in this middle here, even not even just in middle here, in the middle of this, I'm really not interested. All right. Do I have any tutorial on multi-time frame analysis? I do have a bunch. So if you go on my YouTube, go playlists, price action analysis, impulse, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of video here. There's a video about correction. This is the newest video I made. There's about how to identify correction finish. There's a video on multi-time frame analysis. There's a bunch of video on price action, nature of the market, higher probability stuff. You can watch this whole playlist. You can pretty much learn everything here, what I talk about here. All these videos break down everything I'm talking about today. So hopefully those will give you a little bit more insight on what I mean here. So let's move on to Kiwi Cat now. So let's talk about Kiwi Cat. So Kiwi Cat, very similar like Aussie Cat. I got in on Aussie Cat, so I wasn't considered Kiwi Cat. But if you look at the price action here, it's the same, right? You see this head and shoulder pattern exactly like Aussie Cat that form here, right? Whereas Aussie Cat, at least to me, it was in this kind of a channel or flag correction. a little bit better price action than Kiwi CAD, where there is really no structure. Like you can probably try to connect it like that way, but it's a little bit pushing it in my opinion. But similar price action nevertheless, right? Because you see this massive bearish push down, naturally you know price is going to correct and then resume the bearish move. So how I will approach on this, I think some of you guys got it on Kiwi CAD here. I'm not sure, either Aussie CAD or Kiwi CAD. I'm sure one of the two is looking pretty clean that you should have get in, or at least you would consider getting in. Now we are seeing, just want to see what price will do when you hit this low, because Aussie CAD actually hit the low, whereas Kiwi CAD hasn't. So preferably is for price to continue lower, break the previous low, and then continuation down further. Okay, you can see that on a higher time frame, you're only about halfway through, or even not even halfway. This is a higher time frame ascending channel that we're in. So ascending channel, and then you have small ascending channel within the larger ascending channel. This is clearly an impulsive phase, correction, and we impulse down. So further correction here can certainly push down price to all the way to the low of this correction here. Okay, so watch out for price to at least push out below this previous low before you consider entry. Like if you didn't get in on here or here, I don't think getting in now is valid. You're probably going to see just a consolidation here, which is what I expect. Monday Asian session anyways across the board. They're just likely to chill out, correct, consolidate, and then pretty much getting themselves ready for London or New York session for the next impulsive move, okay? Last one, going over pound Swiss, right? So pound Swiss is a trade that I'm in. So pound Swiss, been talking about this for pretty much 2 weeks now, because I've been holding this trade for like, I forgot when I got in. Let's take a look. Yeah, April 21st, so almost 2 weeks now that I've been holding this trade. So I do like what I'm saying now. Finally, we have this continuation correction to impulse correction with impulse out. So preferably to see what price would do at the previous low. And I talk about this in the weekly trade recap video. I want to see price break this previous low now, which is looking like it's en route to do that. A little bit further down push, followed by lower time frame continuation, will certainly bring the price, giving you another potential opportunity to get in. Okay. So that's pound Swiss looking nice, right? We have that higher time frame reversal, impulse correction, looking for the impulse down to the next low. Okay, so if I was able to get in the scaling position, I will consider that. And second trade, good enough risk reward, plus the first trade will pretty much give you massive profit in this month. So again, lots of opportunity, guys, lots of opportunity across the board. You just have to be very patient, waiting for the price to develop, waiting for the price to come to you, and execute it without any fear or without any FOMO, and take it from there. Okay. So that wraps up all the Forex pairs. Any Forex pairs that you guys are looking at before I jump into other market? You can see all the flag ones are the ones that I'm going to focus on more in this upcoming week. All right. So gold, I will go over after, guys. I made a video on gold. If you haven't watched it, you can watch the video on gold, which would pretty much give you guys a huge breakdown on gold from a midterm to higher time frame, midterm to long term approach. Okay, so if you haven't checked that out, check out my gold video. I will talk about this after as well. Okay, just letting you guys know there's a more detailed breakdown on my YouTube. Dollar CAD. Okay, I talk about dollar CAD. I do have a bias for dollar CAD to reverse. The only thing that's holding me back, like I mentioned in the beginning, was all the CAD pairs across the board are looking very strong. So if I have a bias for dollar CAD to go up, that means the CAD is going to be weaker, or simply saying the dollar is going to be stronger than the CAD, and this certainly can play out, right? So, but first thing first is to see how this descending channel will work. If we can get some sort of consolidation here, and then impulse off followed by lower time frame continuation, certainly has potential to push up higher. Okay, so that is at least what I see on dollar CAD. MIR, is that crypto? I'll take a look at that later. Pound dollar, went over this already. So pound dollar, just like my favorite dollar for this week. Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, Euro dollar, pound dollar. You can take a look at my previous outlook on this to learn a lot more about how I was looking at it. But pretty much looking very clean for the downside move from pound dollar and pretty much is playing out. So waiting for some sort of lower time frame continuation. We broke out of this correction here. I like how there is a bullish impulse followed by reversal impulse. And this is a continuation correction. So impulse, correction, impulse. If we get a lower time frame continuation here, that's going to give you at least a better bias to look for further downside. And eventually we can expect price to break below this previous low, and then further continuation would be ideal. So first thing first, wait for lower time frame continuation. That can signal that bearish move to the downside. Okay. S&P 500, I'll go over after commodities. So I'm gonna wrap it up with Forex here. I'll go over commodities, including gold, and I'll jump into indices. Pound CAD is dropping. So not sure what you mean by consolidation on daily. I don't see consolidation. I see this is a higher time frame structure, but if you look at the lower time frame, it clearly had a massive move to the downside. So this looks like a clean impulse, clean correction. We break out of this continuation correction. So only thing that I'll be looking for is just further continuation correction. If that forms, that could very much push the price all the way down to the previous low. Okay, so, but I think, again, if you're going to choose CAD pairs to get involved, I think there's better CAD pair like Aussie CAD is really clean. Aussie CAD is clean. I think some of you guys are looking at Euro CAD. There's Kiwi CAD as well. I think they're all looking pretty clean. Okay. Dollar ZAR, not really seeing much on dollar ZAR. Potentially is at the bottom of this correction though, so certainly something could happen here. Okay, so if I want to put a bullish bias here is this move pushes up followed by continuation. This certainly can push up, forming an inverse head and shoulder, descending channel, parallel channel. So all that is giving you a potential confluence, but this area is a little bit stalling. It's not as bullishly as what we have seen across a couple other dollar pair. This can even become a bearish continuation. Disregard one of the line I draw here, right? If you're looking at straight like this pretty much looks like an impulse correction, and potentially going down lower. Okay, so that kind of going against at least what I see on the rest of the dollar pairs, because the rest of the dollar pair look pretty bullish for me, like strength for a dollar, whereas this can kind of go both ways. So when something like this happens, it's best for me to filter this one out and focus on the one that's looking a lot cleaner to get involved in. Okay, so that's dollar ZAR. Yeah, just went over dollar ZAR. Okay, all the crypto I'll go over at last. Okay, so let's move on now. So that's all the Forex pair. Let's move on to commodities now. So lots of you guys are asking about gold. So I went over, like I said, I made a very detailed breakdown on gold. If you want to watch this, you can watch it anywhere on my platforms, but I did go over gold really, really well. Let's take a look at what I see. So essentially, I see two kind of scenario on gold. So this is the current price action rate right now, right? We're sitting in this area. We're in this higher time frame kind of flag or channel structure. So two possibility. I prefer to see a potential move down for the price. So making this impulse correction would make one more move to the low, past this previous low, and then hitting the bottom of this correction, and then seeing a bullish reversal, and then lower time frame continuation to push up. That is something I prefer to see. If I see something like this entry is definitely something I will be looking for to hold it for a long-term approach. Alternatively, we could just start seeing consolidation here now. So during maybe Asian and London session, we start consolidating here. And then New York session, we just start seeing a bullish continuation, breaking out of this higher time frame flag structure. And I will wait for a lower time frame continuation correction here to get involved. Okay, so there's a few possibilities, few scenario here. One is the direct breakout from here. I'm not interested in buying here though. That doesn't fit my plan because we can easily hit the top here and then reverse back down for one more upside. So I don't think there's enough risk reward here to justify it. That's why I would prefer to wait for the breakout completely, wait for the lower time frame continuation to get involved. Whereas the move down is better because you move down to the low bottom of this overall correction. And if we see lower time frame reversal, you're getting in at the very possible lowest of this overall higher time frame price. Impulse, correction, impulse, right? So you're getting in at the very possible low point, and there's certainly enough risk reward to the top. And if it breaks above, continuation to the upside is certainly possible also. Okay, so that pretty much summarizes what I see on gold. Do I trade NASDAQ USD? I'm gonna go over that right after when I finish commodity. So I'll go over indices right after here. So any question here on gold, guys? This is kind of what I see for the upcoming days or week. So a few more commodities I want to talk about. So let's talk about oil really quick. Oil for me, I'm looking for a bearish move. I'm not looking for buy or anything. Originally, I was looking at this if it's going to be a continuation to go down further. That did not happen, so no entry, no nothing, and now we just pushed back up. We're still in this correction though, and we just hit this potential double top, and price did make a push down from the top now. So I would, again, same approach. Look for some sort of continuation on here, right? Because we already seen price fail to go higher after breaking this previous high, right? There's no continuation here. There's no bullish breakout. Instead, we're seeing a bullish impulse followed by a bearish impulse. So again, reversal impulse. And if the reversal impulse followed by continuation, this type of price action has a very good probability to play out, okay? So I would monitor this area here a little bit longer and potentially looking for a trade to go down to the previous low. Hey Jojo, do you post all your content on your YouTube channel? I actually post a bunch of different platforms, so YouTube is one of them. So I post all my videos, all my lessons, all my price action, everything you want to learn about what I do is all free here on YouTube. Alternatively, you can go on my TradingView because TradingView has all my analysis. It has some same videos and whatnot you can watch on TradingView as well. Or you can go on my Telegram, is where I post all my contents and notification. Like I'll post my weekly links. I'll post what I'm looking at for this week ahead in terms of different pairs. I'll make educational content. I'll share my journal for last month. I'll make trade recap videos and things like that. That's also where I share all the information. It's in this free Telegram channel as well. Okay, so those is where you can find all my content for free. So that's oil. Let's move on to another one I'm looking at is platinum. So platinum here is also looking bearish to me. Okay, so my bias here is bearish. I like how there is this bullish move to the upside, and like I said, it's not followed by continuation price action. Instead, it's a bearish reversal impulse. So bullish impulse, bearish reversal impulse. So and look like this is a continuation correction for this bearish move, right? So impulse correction, looking for the next bearish impulse now. So that's my bias, at least from this point of view. We see on a higher time frame basis, this is the previous top. You see how price just break the previous top and then sharp impulse down, followed by looking like a continuation. So this to me is a double top now, right? We already pushed up all the way this much. It's naturally for price to push down or potentially forming bigger consolidation potentially for the next upside. So I'll keep an eye on how this lower time frame correction will develop. Certainly is possible to push lower even past this previous low as well. But first thing first is to wait for this correction to complete, like either a breakout from the price and lower time frame continuation to go lower. Don't just jump in because it breaks a trend line though. Remember, we want to wait for correction after the breakout. It's going to confirm the bearish impulse with a higher probability. Okay, so that's platinum. Okay, so those are the only commodities I'm looking at. So oil, gold, and platinum is the three that I'm looking for this week ahead. Okay. Any question, guys? Let me know. Feel free to let me know. And I'm going to continue on to the indices now, right after this. Some of you guys are looking at the indices. I'll certainly go over some that look clean in my eye. Thanks. You're amazing, man. Thank you for doing all these stuff. Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. I've been doing this for a while, so that's my motivation to keep going. So I love helping out people as much as I can. I know there's a lot of traders out there who don't do that. Everyone has their own priorities and things like that. So I don't mind sharing this information. I don't mind sharing knowledge, experience, things like that. Just generally trying to provide as much help to people, because in this industry, so many people come and go, and usually is because they have the wrong expectation in trading, whether it's trading psychology or their mindset and emotion or their risk management. They don't understand that's what you require to be a consistent trader. A lot of those trading courses or signals out there, they may or may not teach you all of this. So a lot of people lose money or fail in trading because they're unaware of those aspects. So I do want to pass on those knowledge to people that will at least help them to be a little bit more consistent, and understand the sustainable approach is the key in trading. Okay, so let's continue to Dow Jones. So Wall 30 is Dow Jones. Let's take a look. Few indices I'm looking at. Looking at all the US indices, of course, and to me, I'm only looking for bearish opportunity. I'm not looking for buy. I'm only looking for bearish opportunities. The reason being is just the way how the price has been. We're pretty much, so let's start with Nasdaq here. We're sitting at this potential top now. You can see price just isn't pushing up higher. It's like almost forming a mini double top here or a higher time frame double top. You can even think this is an M style pattern, a big reversal that can potentially come. It's just that it's kind of stalling, it's kind of moving sideways. It's not something that I want to see. It's like I want to see a strong impulse followed by correction. That's always something that we want to get involved, because we know that this, after this correction finish, we can lead into a next impulse with a higher probability, right? We know it's not guaranteed, but higher probability is what we need in order to execute a trade. Whereas I'm just seeing this area is a little bit stalling. It's not really moving too much. Like I preferably see price break this previous low and then lower time frame continuation to continue. Okay, so that's something that I will look for this week. Okay, it's not ready here yet, but don't worry, because there's a lot of downside potential, right? Even if you don't get in on the first correction, there is lots of room to the downside. And this is the part where uh, don't be FOMO, right? Don't have that fear of missing out syndrome, okay? Because the market is not going anywhere. Okay, it's not gonna drop in a straight line like this. Okay, so there's always opportunity along the impulses that there is always pullback or correction in the middle. You can certainly get involved in any one of them. So that's Nasdaq. Let's talk about S&P 500. S&P 500 does look probably the best out of all three US indices. I like how we're still in this larger kind of expanding, kind of ascending structure. So we're still correcting. This latest bit of the part, you can clearly see this is ascending channel, this is ascending channel. They're all kind of telling us that price isn't pushing up any higher, like there's no bullish price action here. So essentially, we might be reaching a top, right? We might be just at the top now. Again, but we're not just selling because of some bearish candlestick. I want to make this clear, is that I don't just trade based on there is a bearish, engulfing candle and you start shorting. No, we want to look at price action. We want to see if this ascending channel will lead into a strong impulsive move and followed by correction. That's going to be a better entry, a better valid entry for the downside rather than just seeing a candlestick formation. Okay, certainly candlestick is good. It's an added confluence, but it's not the first thing you should look for. You should be looking at what the overall price is doing to have a bias for a potential sell. Okay, so let's wait to see what will happen here. This can push down and then kind of pull back here and then push down, forming a head and shoulder. and this can be that impulse correction and looking for continuation downwards. And last one is Dow Jones, right? So Dow Jones is, you can kind of see that this is potentially a structure here as well. That's why I don't favor these. I prefer to see price actually break this previous low. This is the low where you can see price trying to break it, but it's failing, right? So wait for price to actually break the previous low, and then lower time frame continuation, sell down to the previous low, and then if there is bearish price action, it certainly can continue lower to the downside. But again, all of them are really not ready at the moment. Okay, so patient is key, waiting for a little bit more bearish price action to happen. It's going to be better. Okay, I never recommend jumping in right at the top or right at some candlestick. We want to wait for bearish confirmation. Okay, so those are the indices I'm looking at for the week ahead. I think there is a few more indices that I'm looking at, but so say like Euro 50 is in this ascending channel, so very corrective price action. There is also potential head and shoulder like that. It's currently that's forming as well. So preferably breakout, continuation, and certainly a price push to the downside. You can see that this is the previous high before COVID happened. So we're right back to this high here. So this can be a higher time frame double top. And the previous one formed a more of like a parallel structure and then a massive drop down. This is just forming ascending channel, but same idea here, right? There is correction here. The correction leads into the impulsive phase. So we don't know how strong or how fast this impulsive move will happen. Certainly might not be as sharp as a COVID impulse, but we can expect a potential downside that is more probable in my opinion. Okay, and German 30 DAX, same idea here, right? It's kind of ascending channel. There's very similar price action, head and shoulder here as well, and looking for breakdown, continuation, and push down to the previous low. Again, before COVID, same idea, kind of a parallel channel here, and then massive move to the downside. This one is just more in ascending nature, but same idea here, okay? So that is all the indices. Okay, any question on these guys before I jump into the crypto market to wrap it up? Again, NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow Jones are the ones that I'll be looking at for this week. All right. Thank you for teaching my lady trading. Oh, okay. She has learned a lot from you, and I agree with what you're saying. Pause for helping people for free. Yeah, good to know. Dollar index. I did look over dollar index in the beginning, but no more indices questions. I'll quickly touch base on dollar index before I jump into the crypto. So dollar index, in the beginning, I talked about that. Even from last week when I made this dollar forecast, I talked about that a potential move on dollar, right? And dollar index was one of them that I was looking at for a potential up move, right? So I want to see this descending channel complete. I want to see that impulse breakout and then continuation. So half of it is done. We did see a completion of this descending channel. We did see this bullish breakout, which is good. So I want to wait for some sort of continuation correction here. That's going to lead into the next bullish push. Okay. Certainly higher time frame every week when I talk about dollar index is that I mentioned that there's still a possibility that price can reach this low, right? That is kind of more of like a higher time frame bias and approach. But I always bring up that the lower time frame always look more bullish to me in my eye, even though they have this really sharp kind of a bearish descending channel, a really sharp move down. But in the end, we form this descending channel. We have a bullish push up now. So confirmation would be a bullish continuation correction here, and that could lead into the push up for the dollar, and that pretty much adds confluence to pretty much all my dollar bias that I'm looking at for the dollar strength, right? All of them are shaping up to be pretty much exactly what I pointed out last week. So definitely looking for opportunity this week to get in. I personally didn't get in on any of the dollar pairs because I didn't see any correction, or at least the ones that fits my plan. But I certainly see more opportunity this week that I can definitely get involved in the dollar pairs, and I do think they look very, very clean for further downside, further strength in dollar. That's what I meant. Okay. So I'm gonna jump to crypto now. Okay, so we went over currency, we went over commodities, we went over indices. Now we're gonna go into crypto. Like I said, I'm only in 3 positions. Someone messaged me about positions. I'm only in 3 positions, just those 3 positions. I'm talking about Kiwi Yen, Aussie CAD, and Pound Swiss. I think they're all in pretty decent profit, but I'm looking to hold them or looking for scaling opportunity on most of them. I'm not in any crypto trade, just so you guys know. I'm not in any crypto pairs or anything, but I am in 3 of the Forex pairs right now. So that's going to crypto now. Let's talk about crypto. I want to go over a few that could look potentially in shaping up to what I like. So let's take a look. I saw a bunch of people talking about different crypto pairs, so I'll make sure to go over those. I'm just looking at the chat right now to make sure I don't miss any. Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, yeah. Ethereum, Doge, Bitcoin, okay. Dent, USD, I don't have that, but I'll talk about that. Crypto, okay, that's it. So I'm gonna start crypto now, guys. So if you have any crypto you want me to take a look, feel free to type it in the type it in the chat, sorry. Let me know and I'll take a look. So I want to start with Ripple here first. I think Ripple has some good opportunities. I personally didn't get in on this. By the way, I didn't get in on this, but I would have get in. That's usually my plan to get in on one of these, but I just missed it, to be honest. I think that's April 31st. Like when it was that, let me just double check. April 31st. Yeah, I didn't get in. Yeah, I think that just wasn't on the chart here to get in on this, but I like the overall move. I talked about Ripple here. I like how we have this strong bullish impulse to the upside, and then this just as a really higher time frame deep correction, and we impulse out of that deep correction, lower time frame continuation, and we're continue upside now. We pretty much want to wait and see what will happen here, right? This can be a continuation correction to go higher, or this can lead into some bearish thing. We don't know yet, okay? So let's watch out for what will happen here, preferably just leading to a bullish correction, and we continue past the previous top. Okay, I would certainly want to see how price will behave. In the overall price, I like how this move up is followed by a deep correction, so this can lead into the next impulse. Okay, so that's Ripple. Okay, certainly my bias here on Ripple is bullish. I want to see more continuation to push the price higher. So that's Ripple. So Binance Coin, definitely looking for upside, right? Talk about this from the bottom. When we see Binance Coin push out from here, this is already a sharp impulsive move, right? So we know how price works. So impulse, correction, impulse. And we're forming another continuation correction. We're pretty much breaking out now. So lower time frame continuation here, I think it's definitely a valid buy. Okay, I'm looking for this buy as well. If we finish some sort of continuation here, I will be looking for an entry like this, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's what I see on Binance Coin. I think it's pretty straightforward here. If he forms a correction here, I'm looking for a buy here. And even if this moved down or whatever, I'm happy to take a loss here. I actually got pretty good profit from last month. If you guys recall my previous Binance trade, it's like 9.5 to 1 or so. After we complete this higher time frame correction, so we impulse out, lower time frame continuation, got in on this, and then expecting this bigger correction to form, and expect the bigger correction to complete, and expecting this bullish move. Okay, so certainly is looking for Binance Coin, looking for upside, of course. So Binance Coin, let's talk about Cardano. I think Cardano also has very good possibility. Again, we went over Cardano from while the price is still in this correction here. I saw two different scenarios. You see how the price pushed it to the upside but failed to continue and drop down. Pretty much kind of what I was looking at is if it doesn't push up and then followed by correction, that just means that this correction is just expanding into a bigger one. So this move down is expected. We hit the bottom here. Now we're just reversing back up. So exactly nothing wrong with the correction point of view. It's just the correction expand now into a bigger correction, but still a bullish price action. Look how far we have pushed up from all this bullish point, right? So impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, making this just one large bullish impulsive phase, and this is a large higher time frame continuation. Certainly looking for further upside opportunity. Okay, so I think this is pretty clear for a potential up move. It's just whether or not we're going to complete this correction now, like this move pushes up and continue up now, or this pushes up and then make another move down again before the up move. We don't know, right? Remember, correction can go on indefinitely, right? This can go on indefinitely. We don't know how long or how deep it will go. It is obviously telling us that it's potentially ready because there's few swing highs and few swing low. So that certainly adds confluence and adds probability. But me personally, like I'm not entering here. I'm only going to enter if we break out and continuation correction to go just exactly how I got in on this entry here. Right, there is that correction here. We broke some previous high and formed lower time frame continuation, and I just end up in for this trade. So very simple, same approach, same management, same kind of entry that I will be looking for here. Okay. VET, BCH, I'll go over those. Did I read a book for the way you trade or do a course? Actually, I didn't. I didn't read a book. I didn't even do anybody's course. I did what everyone else is doing right now. Just look at free information, right? There's so much free information out there, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on TradingView, whether it's on any different Telegram, whatever. There's so much information available online that's free. Okay, so I won't suggest people to right away start paying expensive courses to someone who you're not even sure if they're a trader or not. You guys understand social media today is all about faking a lot of things, right? I'm sorry to say that, but a lot of traders aren't really traders, right? They're just showing you what you want to see. For example, showing you profit after profit, showing you they have nice expensive things like cars, house, toys, things like that. They show you what you want to see because they want you to have an attachment to what they're about to sell you, right? So are they really selling you trading courses, or are they selling you what you want to see, right? So be careful on those, okay? There's a lot of free information out there. So start by looking at free information, right? Start thinking about who you are as a trader, what kind of trader you are, right? Everyone trades differently. Some people trade swing trading, some people day trade, some people scalp, some people are more in the middle. You have to find what is right for you. Just because someone who shows you a bunch of profit, but they are doing scalping and it's very risky and very hard to master, you might not be happy to trade that way. Whereas someone who might be showing you swing trading, they're a lot safer, but the reward is not as big. Does that fit you? Right? So you got to think about these things before you start paying someone money for things that doesn't even suit you, right? You got to think about in terms of growth now, right? Because trading is ultimately your own responsibility, right? You can learn from the best trading guru out there, or whatever expensive courses they sell, but if you can't use it effectively in your trading journey, then it's all in a waste, right? So you want to make sure to find something that's going to help you to identify who you are as a trader. So that's going to help you in the long run, because trading ultimately is about consistency and sustainability. Okay, it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? So you got to think about that. people who get into trading thinking about they can get rich quick usually fails. Usually fails very fast. They will blow a few accounts and then they'll quit trading, right? So that's how I see. Hey, thanks a lot, Trading View. Appreciate it. Thank you. So that's just my, 1 cent, 2 cent here on trading. So let's continue here. There's a bunch of pairs to go over, right? So Dogecoin, some of you guys are talking about Doge. I'll share my kind of view on Doge. This is kind of what I'm seeing right now. Okay, so from a strict price action point of view, I kind of see this move not likely to continue. Okay, there's a few scenarios I can see within this area. Because this move looks corrective, even though there is few lower time frame correction or whatever, but we're not breaking above this high. If this move just breaks out of this ascending channel, lower time frame continuation, this certainly can move down once more, okay, and then start having the big reversal, just making a larger continuation correction for this move. Okay, so that's certainly a possibility. If you're looking for bullish price action or if you're looking for bullish buy, I really wouldn't be buying here. I would prefer for the price to actually break this high, like the all-time high, right? Break the all-time high and then followed by continuation is going to help you to be a better entry, okay? Especially Dogecoin is one of those really volatile coin, right? All this move in the middle, you just have to see a lot of people lose money here, right? A lot of people are buying, and then the market drop or whatever. So think about what's going on here. Does this correction look complete? To me personally, it does not. I would prefer a move down to the low here and then continue. And if this happened, dropping down to a low, and buying here would be excellent, right? Because you're buying at the low, you just see a higher time frame continuation correction potentially finish. So impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. Okay, that is something that I prefer to see. If that doesn't happen, if the bearish move does not happen and we just break out now, then I would only look for buy if we break this all-time high and then continuation to go. Okay, does that make sense? So always let the market come to you. You don't need to second guess yourself what's going on here because right now where the price is, it can really go both way and you don't really need to bet your money. It's almost like you don't need to gamble, right? Remember, the difference between trading and gambling is a really thin, fine line, but it's all about consistency. It's all about following your plan and management. That's how you don't let trading become gambling, right? You want to make sure you have a plan. You want to make sure you follow it. Otherwise, you're just gambling because you're just entering trade hoping that it will go up or hoping it will go down, but there's no technical analysis or any fundamental analysis in there. That's why following the plan is super important, right? Trading psychology, master your mindset and motion is super important, especially in these type of crypto market, especially in these type of price action condition. Okay, so that's Doge. Let's see what else I'm looking at. Bitcoin Cash. I'm not seeing too much here. Potentially is recovering though, so I definitely see lower time frame bullish price action, right? So this impulse, correction impulse is kind of reversing back up with these small impulses and corrections. It's not that buying here is not valid. Certainly these buys are valid if it fits your trading plan. I personally will wait to see what price will do if it can break above this previous high here. Because sometimes what ends up happening, price pushed to the top here, only to see it start reversing back down, and we're just forming a larger structure before the next up move. That happens all the time in crypto, and I noticed that throughout, a lot of backtesting and chart work. So just be careful, right? This buy move certainly can happen, but you gotta watch out for this previous high and see what the price will do. Okay. So Doge, let's talk about DOT. So DOT, right? Same, like, see, this is kind of the same because we see how we have that move to the upside, and instead of continuation, we break this previous high. Instead of continuation, go higher. It pretty much pushed down, followed by a bearish continuation correction, and we drop down. All it is now is showing us the structure becomes a bigger structure now. So all these small move to the upside, I do think they're valid, but can they actually continue all the way to the top or even breaking the top and continue? It's too early to tell, right? I don't want to make a call or anything like that. Certainly, small time lower time frame correction here is slowly going to push the price, but is it going to break the high? I'm not sure. So if you have a plan or strategy to enter just from here to the top here, I do see that could be a potential. Okay, but make sure you understand the risk reward here as well. Okay, um, I always talk about preferably I want to see a higher time frame continuation, potentially over, and we could potentially lead into the next impulsive phase. Okay, so that's dot. Ethereum. Ethereum is pushing up, kind of surprised me, to be honest. I was more looking at this that could be more of a bearish price action to go lower, and my bias would be like the bearish breakdown followed by continuation. So, right, like a correction here or a correction after breakout. I think they're all valid. Instead, it continued to push up, so kind of surprised me a little bit. But I'm really not interested to be buying here, right? Look at this sharp bullish push to the upside. The best way is if you're looking for a buy, you need to wait for some sort of correction to go, right? It's not just going to continue going up like this in a straight line. It's not how price action works. After a bullish impulse, continuation correction, it's best to wait for the next impulsive move. So we don't know what will happen here, but preferably wait for a correction and then wait for the upside after. Ethereum VET, so VET. So similarly, similarly, I'm seeing more bearish. Okay, I'm seeing this more bearish at this moment. Okay, so this bullish push up from the price is bullish, but instead of continuation higher, it looks like we're just stalling in this area, and I don't like this bearish drop down from the price. It looks like this can just be some sort of consolidation here. Okay, so I'm not interested in this, and for me personally, I'm never interested in selling crypto. That's just my personal approach in crypto. I always want to buy only. I'm not saying the sell won't happen. Certainly, there's people selling. That's why the market is moving. But I personally don't want to look for sell opportunities. I only want to look for bullish opportunity. So in this case, I will not be involved. I want to see what will happen in this area. If it's going to continue correct and potentially drop down to the lows, something like this, forming a correction like this to go up. Okay, I just don't think this enough here to go up higher. Okay. Dash. So Dash, yeah, I also not too favor this one. I had this bearish drop, continuation, and push down. Yes, there is lower time frame correction, but we don't know if this is enough to push up above the high or even breaking above the high and continue. We're not sure yet. I just don't think after this strong bullish move, this is all the correction we need to go higher. I just don't see it that way. I see how the same thing happened here, right? A bullish push up and a bearish push down, and there was a little bit inclined to up, but just doesn't continue higher. Instead, it falls into a deeper consolidation before the next up move. So these moves may or may not continue, or may not be enough to break the previous high and continue higher. So that's why I prefer to, again, watch a little bit more development. Something like this can happen, which just falls into a deeper correction, and then that would be a better valid buy if you see a bigger correction or bigger structure to form. So that's Dash. Went over that. Luna. Link is another one I do want to talk about. This actually looks kind of cleaner. Okay, so we talk about Link on the bottom. We've been pushing up impulsively. So this is a large bullish impulse. This is kind of like a panic correction. We're looking for breakout, right? So price did break out. I remember I took this trade here. I end up with the break even actually when price pushes down after. But it looks like we are pushing up and there is potential another correction. We broke this previous high as well. So this is breaking out now. So I think the lower time frame correction here is valid if that fits your plan to enter a potential buy here. I think that's about it. Is there anything other crypto that you guys want me to take a look? I think that's all the crypto, unless I miss any. Bitcoin? Yeah, I didn't go over Bitcoin, right? But I didn't go over Bitcoin because also I really not favoring current Bitcoin price action. I certainly is seeing these lower time frame push, and I do see this inverse head and shoulder as well. But I don't like how we are still in this kind of higher time frame ascending channel potential reversal, right? This certainly has merit to go up higher, but is it going to break above the high and continue? Not so sure here, right? So the best for me is to actually wait for price to break this previous high, right? This is all-time high, if I right? So break the all-time high, and then continuation, which will be much better. Better entry in my opinion than entering while we're in this higher time frame correction here still, because this can move up to the top and just to start dropping down again. We don't know that yet, right? There's a few possibilities here, so it's best to wait for a little bit more development here to confirm the potential move. Okay. Which forex brokerage do you use for your trading? Some brokerage have wide spread between buy and sell. I personally use only two. So I use Oanda and I use AxiTrader. Okay, those are the only two that I use. I'm not doing any introducing broker stuff, but certainly it's best for you to do your own research on which broker fits you, or that's allowed in your country. I'm not sure where you're from. Different country has different rules on what broker are allowed, anyways. So make sure you find a reputable broker. Make sure you find a broker that has good customer service, good reputation, and good support. I think that's more important. I don't think the spread really is that big of a deal because every broker has spread. Every broker has spread big during rollover time, right? A lot of traders, they're unaware about rollover, right? During rollover from 22 o'clock GMT to 23 o'clock, in that 1 hour is the rollover happens. Any broker will have high spread or a pretty volatile spread during that time. It's just what it is. So it's best to not trade or not have any open position. Now it's best to not have any entry position because you might get tagged in and the price is way below or way above the price that you want to enter. Sometimes people got caught into that and then they got upset. They think the broker are scamming them. It's not really. It's the broker had bigger spread during rollover. Any brokers would have. So it's just the nature of it, right? So it's best to cancel any of your entry orders until the rollover finish, until the spread calms down, and then re-enter those entry positions, and then see if the price will tag you in after. Okay, so but like I said, I use Oanda, AxiTrader for Forex. I use Kraken, Coinbase, and Binance for crypto. Okay. All of them are, you can open personal accounts or you can open business account. I open all business pro accounts, so but it's should be allowed in most countries if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let's continue to think I missed BTC. Yeah, I just went over BTC. So thoughts on XLM? Yeah, I didn't go over XLM, right? XLM, I do see a potential bullish move still. Okay. I remember I actually entered one of these trade here. Trade pushes up. I actually was looking for further continuation, but crypto had that massive bearish kind of sell off, and I end up only with I think 1% instead of the 3%. But that's fine. That happens in trading a lot. But this kind of price action is the same across the few crypto we went over, right? They have these lower time frame push to the upside, but are they enough to push higher above the previous high and continue, or are we going to form bigger structure? It's again too early to tell. Okay, I wasn't on my watch list because we see something like this happen. We see how like we have a push up, we have a push up, we have a push down, we have a push down, and then we have a recover, but this falls into more of the descending channel before the reversal. We don't know if this is going to also fall into a descending channel. We don't know anything like yet. Okay, so to me, it's just best to wait for a little bit of development. Okay, I'm not saying this wouldn't go higher, right? Everything in trading is a probability, right? There's certainly a degree of probability this can go higher, right? That's definitely possible. But I'm just saying that I prefer to see a little bit more development. I just don't think this inverse head and shoulder is enough as a correction for this overall move. We might see just a little bit more consolidation here and some sort of bullish price action that can lead into further upside. Okay. So that's XLM. Did I go over EOS? Sure. So similarly, right? Like all the crypto are having this kind of lower time frame recovery, and it's the same approach again. I just after the strong bearish sell-off, I don't, at least from experience, I just don't think this is all enough to start climbing up now. I want to see more, right? I want to see more development. Okay, it's not that these won't go off. It's just from my trading plan, from my management approach, I just want to see a little bit more development from the price. Right? If this forms into a bigger correction, this head and shoulder now it's more valid or more tangible now, right? It's bigger, it's more deeper, it has more likelihood to continue. Whereas the smaller lower time frame correction may or may not be enough to be breaking above the previous high and continue. Right? We all want to see crypto go higher, right? We all agree with that, but we don't know if the small price action is enough. That's kind of all I'm trying to point out. Okay. So, yeah. So any other crypto guys? I'm gonna wrap up crypto here. Going back to any of the currency pair that I missed. But for crypto, I do want to point out the few that I am interested in is Cardano. I think Cardano is looking clean. This is a big higher time frame correction. See some of the crypto that we just went over, they don't have this correction. This is the difference of it, right? We look at EOS, we look at what do we look at XLM, we look at Dash. A lot of these do not have that higher time frame correction, whereas Cardano is clean, right? This is clearly a correction phase that market is doing. There's a few swing highs and a few swing lows, and it's followed by a strong bullish impulse. That is the difference, guys. That is the difference to filter out trades between trades, right? So Cardano is looking good if we can get continuation breakout and then lower time frame continuation should go. I do think there is Binance Coin is also looking good. We have the previous impulse correction. We impulse out. Now it's a bigger correction. Certainly can be a correction here to go higher. Ripple had this correction. You see the difference is at least it has this tangible correction and we have an impulse correction. So whereas the other couple crypto that we went over did not have that bullish correction that we see across for some of them. So those are the ones that I will be focused more on for this week. Okay. XMR, last one. Well, actually, first time looking at this, certainly is moving up and it doesn't have the crash, so to speak, like compared to the other ones. So this is certainly better, but I'm also not seeing a correction here. You see, this is a bigger kind of just movement, but there's no correction. I can't even draw a correction in. Okay, so that's why also I'm not interested in these. I am interested only in those couple ones I point out that is in that higher time frame correction that could lead into the next impulse. These ones just look much cleaner and more valid in my eye for continuation. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Pound dollar, sure. Go back to currency here. Talk about pound dollar. I am looking for pound dollar for the downside. That's my bias. Last week we talked about that potential reversal from this area and pretty much play out as an impulse, correction, impulse now. So wait for lower time frame continuation here, wait for price to drop down and continue lower. I definitely think most of the dollar pair has that potential opportunity. And again, it's just choosing the best dollar pair to get involved, right? My favorite pair, like I said, Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, Euro dollar, and pound dollar, they're all looking very clean. So I'll just choose best one or two of them to get involved. And also yen pairs, I think Aussie yen, Kiwi yen, pound yen all look excellent for continuation downside. There's Euro yen, Swiss yen is okay. CAD yen needs to have this bearish breakout first. You see, CAD is so strong that there's few potential on CAD yen, but the bearish move has to complete, has to break down, followed by correction in order for me to get involved. Otherwise, this just becomes an expanding structure, so impulse correction, and potentially just going higher if this consolidation it leads into a flag or something like that. And then we're just going to see further upside. Okay, so be careful on this one. I think there is a lot of people are more in the mix. Either they're thinking of buy or sell. So I think best to stay on this one. It's a little bit more advanced when we start seeing expanding structures. Okay, and there's better yen pairs that we can potentially get involved in. Okay. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Do you decide your entry based on candles or price action? Price action is number one. So price action always, I'm looking at the overall price action from a higher time frame to lower time frame. I'm looking at the overall impulsive phase and correction phase, right? So we know that this is an impulsive phase. This is a higher time frame continuation. We go back right to the double top area, and then there is lower time frame continuation. So all these factor into a multi-time frame analysis, and I'm looking for the impulsive phase for the higher time frame to happen. I'm getting in on the lower time frame because I see the higher time frame impulse. So by getting in on the lower time frame, you maximize your risk reward, right? You maximize it by entering on the lower time frame and setting a potential target on the higher time frame. You maximize your risk reward, and that's how you going to be consistent and have growth in your trading account, right? You need to grow your trading account in order to compound your capital in order to grow your money, right? Everybody who trade wants to grow their account so that your 1% risk becomes bigger every time when your account gets bigger. Okay, that's the goal for everyone. It's consistently, but also consistently compounding your account so that every 1% you take is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But your rule, your entry, your management, your plan does not change. So it's like taking 1% on a $100 account versus taking 1% on a $100,000 account should be absolutely the same. That's how you're going to be consistent in the long run. Okay. Any last minute question, guys, before I wrap this up? Any last minute question? I'm happy to answer any questions before I end the stream here. So feel free to ask me any question you have. Like I said, someone asked me about content. I have a bunch of platforms where I do my content. YouTube is one of them. You can go on my YouTube. In my playlist section, everything you want to learn about price action analysis is all here. All these videos you can watch to get understanding of what I trade and how I trade. Trading psychology and risk management are super important. Okay, a lot of people don't really elaborate on these factors. I think that's the most important part of trading. I don't think it's the strategy that traders fail. I think it's the trading psychology and risk management why traders fail. Okay, so you can go on my YouTube, you can go on my trading view is where I post all my analysis. All my streams are saved forever, so you can always watch all my streams either on TradingView or you can watch it on YouTube as well. And all my content, I forward them on my Telegram channel. It's all free. You can check all my analysis, all my streams, all my lessons, all my journal that I do every month, all my trade recap video every week, etc. So If you ever really want to learn how I trade, look at my journals, right? I do journals up here in my link tree link. Sorry. You can watch my journals. Easy to download the journal, and you can see how I trade, what I do, how I record down all the trades. That's how you're gonna learn better, right? You should always write a journal down. That's how you're gonna be better and work on your mistakes if you want to be a better trader. Make sure you know how to journal your trades as well. All right, so that's about it, guys. What literature would you recommend on understanding charts? Yeah, I went over that. You can start my content, or you can go look at anybody else's content. Doesn't have to be me, but you can start free, right? TradingView is free, YouTube is free, Telegram is free, right? So there's a lot of free material out there. So make sure you don't pay someone right away. Make sure you look at the stuff that you can see online for free, or even if you're planning to pay someone, make sure their strategy or their approach in trading fits what you like. Remember, everyone trades differently. Everyone has different expectation in trading. So make sure you acknowledge who you are as a trader, what you are looking for when you trade, and make sure that is the same or at least resemble it, so that you don't jump from strategy to jump from strategy to strategy. I see a lot of traders do that. They'll learn about, let's say, support and resistance, and then they'll learn it for a few months, and then they move on to Elliott wave, and then they move on to some other patterns, whatever. It's like people don't stay long enough to see a strategy play out, and they kind of just get impatient. They're like, okay, I'm not making money where those people on social media is making, so I'm gonna start jumping from strategy to strategy. If you ask me who's been trading for the last 8 years, I honestly don't think strategy is the issue why traders don't succeed. I really think it's the trading psychology and risk management is why traders don't succeed. I reasonably believe most strategy work if the trader who's following them or who's using those strategy actually follow it to their plan. A lot of them don't, right? When they start losing, they start taking a bunch of revenge trade, they start over leverage, over trading, and they lead into blowing their account, and then the cycles repeat after each other. So think about what I meant here. Strategy, style, you can learn, you can work on it, you will get it, but trading psychology, risk management is the most important part. Okay? So think about those. By the way, subscribe, great. I'm from Italy. Oh, okay, nice to see you. Italy, wow, it's pretty late in Italy, huh? It should be like midnight for Italy now, isn't it? +8, plus. You guys are GMT +1 or +2, so that's like midnight already for you guys, eh? So nice to see you, Samuel. Nice to see you from Italy. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up now, guys. So this is Weekly Outlook. I will always do another market update on Wednesday, New York session. So that will update. It's kind of a midway update on any of the market, and go from there. So throughout the week, I'll post different outlook, different analysis, and different educational video as I always been doing. So feel free to tune into those. Okay, and that's about it. So last thing to just go over the positions I have. Aussie CAD is running good, about 4%. Kiwi Yen is running 1.5, 1.8% or something. I can't do the math, sorry. Pound Swiss is running 3.5 to 1. So just 3 trades running on my account right now. And I don't have any crypto running right now. Okay. So that's about it, guys. So I'm going to wrap up the stream here. And like I said, any additional question, you're welcome to join my Telegram. We have a group discussion chat room where you can ask me or any other people questions. It's all free. You can join if you like. This is where we share charts, analysis, different things that we learn. So feel free to join my group. All right. So thank you very much, guys, and hope to chat with you guys all next time. So be safe out there wherever you guys are. So I will see you guys all next time. All right. Thank you very much.